Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Mike Fire for Tuxedo playing a video game called Games Tycoon, and it's currently in early access on Steam for like $9 or something like that. Yeah. If you can tell from the name, I'm not exactly sure why it's Mad Games Tycoon, but it is Games Tycoon. Or you can take away from that pretty much exactly what you need to know, and that is that this is a game dev simulator. So if you've played something like Game Dev Story on iOS, or I think it's on Android now too, which came out like 4 years ago, a long time ago. Easily, probably my favorite game on iPhone. And also, if you've played Game Dev Tycoon, that's on Steam and like the Windows Store or whatever. The point is that these are game dev simulators. They're pretty cool. I like them a lot, and I've lost a lot of time. I've played this already like 10 hours, and I've only had it for, well, I played it 2 days, and I got 10 hours into it. I don't always spend that amount of time on a game, and when I do, it makes me happy in one way because it shows I'm really into a game, and in another way, it shows me, holy fuck, I need to do something else with my life for a little while. But anyway, all right, so let's start this up. Player name, Mike, and company name, let's just go with Tuxedo. And you can choose a logo, but they're all like other companies' logos. So you have to kind of go to the bottom to find the ones that are, not not like these parodies of real things like Lockstar or whatever, or Skull Frog instead of Bullfrog, Lion Head, Tiger Head. You get it. You see what's happening here. If you know video games, then you see what they're doing here. But there's some I like it up here actually because there's some classic stuff like Enix, which is almost racist, but it's obviously Enix. Before they were bought by Square. Old EA logos, Atari, Bandai. Yeah, it's pretty Koei. I don't know. I can't even form words because it just kind of makes me happy. The stuff like this is, I don't know. I think it's fucking cool. Whatever. What are you gonna do? Anyway, let's pick these fish because Tuxedo, it's close enough. It's about as close as we can get. I hope that eventually you can maybe you can put in your own custom logo. Like I don't know. I could probably do that now actually if I had like if I found the file and put like a small PNG file or something. I could probably make my own logo and choose a location. This is just going to be like a I suck at video. This is going to be like a full playthrough or anything, but I do have one playthrough where I'm doing incredibly well, which is pretty awesome. But, yeah, so since I'm not really doing anything important, let's just go to USA. And, no easy start. We're going to start in the garage, just like our forefathers. Alright, so this is your dude. As far as I know, you can't. I mean, unless it just is based on your name. I've never found an option to be a woman, which is kind of strange. So now you pick like your specialty, your speciality, and the first two things that you start with are skill, or I guess it's three: skill, arcade, and puzzle. So I just pick one of those as your special because that way, when you start the game, it's a lot easier to make something quality. So let's go with arcade. And features, in the beginning you only get ASCII text support, and I think you might get PC sound, but let's just go with this one is a little bit more ambiguous. I think I'm gonna go with PC's speaker sound, and then for these I usually give him some graphics because they really value graphics. In this game, and programming, not that important. Now, unlike real video games where programming and game design are extremely important, graphics and sound seem to be really paramount in this game. And I don't know. I kind of, let's go normal here, but I have a little bit of a difficult time trying to figure out exactly what's happening. First off, take down these fucking walls. I mean, you can't, there's no connecting door to here, but as you can see, this is a garage and like a studio apartment, a studio home attached to like a garage here with your head office and there. First thing you got to do, and this is what makes it a little different from, or extremely different, I should say, from Game Dev Tycoon, Game Dev Story. that you actually build rooms. So right here, I'm just straight up placing a room in here, and there's that weird buzzing noise. I'm not exactly sure what that indicates. So let's just put a room right here. We will stick our door right there, and you also have to, before you can do anything, you have to buy a desk. So there's the desk. So now you have your development room. So I'm gonna take Mike over here and develop a game. So let's say, well, actually, what kind of game are we gonna do here? Arcade, obviously, that's our specialty, and a game developing arcade game would be great. Pirates. Let's go with a pirate arcade game with no engine. So we only have okay. See, I made a good guess here. ASCII art and PC sound. So let's just call this game Pirates. Cool. And then here, there's options for if you want to make an MMO or free to play. I've never actually seen this available. Maybe it's because it's an early access. This game, by the way, for an early access game, is very, very well done. It, you know, I'm 10 hours in. I mean, the end game is kind of the same as all of these types of games, as in it just keeps going forever. And once you're successful, it's pretty much the gravy train never stops. Once you've figured it out, and there's no real point to keep going after, you know, once it gets one generation past PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, or their jokey facsimile versions. But this game is really, really well done. And, I mean, some of the art looks a little, excuse me, a little placeholder. But, I mean, other than that, everything else, it feels great, I should say. It feels great. Doesn't look completely great, but it feels great. Alright, so obviously we're going to go on the computer. You can pick 4 platforms, which is pretty neat. And now we have to pick our ratios of what we're going to actually develop for. As you can see here, like the dev cost is 20, I think it was, 23 just in general. 23 grand, and then an extra 5 grand to develop on the computer. It's a lot more expensive for like, you know, eventually there's going to be like an NES and whatever. It's really expensive there. This is an arcade game. So, I don't know. We kind of have to make our best guesses here. So let's go core gamer, beginner friendly, functions, game length. I mean, it's an arcade game, and then gameplay. Let's go like that. This can really fuck us if it's not right, and I don't remember because I just remember there's, instead of first-person shooter, there's ego shooter, and that seems to be a pretty big deal in this. So I'm not sure exactly what technology represents here. Like, I mean, gameplay, I don't know, and that's another thing that's confusing about this game, I will say, is that it's not very well explained. That is gameplay, is that you know, how is that, like, the fidelity of control, is technology, the programming side, sound and graphics are fairly self-explanatory, but it is hard to tell what people want once your game is actually done and what you did wrong when it comes to here. Well, on this menu, like, after you make a couple arcade games or whatever, it'll actually say, you know, there'll be little arrows that say you want more graphics than gameplay, you want more story than game length, or whatever. But here is a little bit more nebulous, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm not even sure if it really matters all that much, because later in the game you could just fuck off and put, you know, everything wherever you want it, and as long as you have enough people working on the game, it's gonna turn out well. But obviously, there's no reason. We can't turn these off anyway, but this costs us 8 grand right here for ASCII art and PC sound. And now, yeah, look at that. We're on our game. Let him go. I hit the double time button, and Mike just goes to town. Look at him. Look at this game he's doing. Look at this guy. Oh, yeah, and then here's our money. It's already gone down to 53,500. We had 100,000 to start. No fans. He is a slight fan of this office right now. We unlocked the sprite feature, which we actually have to research with, we have to buy a research room and physically walk across the hall into that room to study sprites. That's the one thing that does kind of frustrate me, but I understand why they do it, so that way later in the future you can have, you know, you want designated rooms because you can have more staff, you can have people who are dedicated solely to research, but there's not so much to research that it won't just phase out eventually anyway. in this beginning period of the game, it's frustrating that you can't just use the same room to study and research as you can to publish a game. But anyway, so Pirates is done. The work on this game has been completed. The test patterns have already been sent to all gaming magazines. Would you like to produce the game itself? Or do you want to contract with a publisher? Obviously, we want to find a publisher because it's the only option we have here. And that's where it gets a little strange, too. Because this game, as much as you might think that you know what this game is because of because of Game Dev Story, Game Dev Tycoon, and others like it, other Tycoon games, this is fairly more in-depth, and I'm not sure how much this actually has an effect, but it's interesting. So we see here, these are the publishers with interest, and these are the publishers without. So it's bigger stuff like Sega, Pony, Oregon. You can see, you get it. You can see what's going on here, and these have more market strength. And there's also a bar for relation, and I'm not exactly sure what your relationship with the publisher actually means. And then you see here the share. Share is actually as far as I can tell, it's the amount of money that you get per copy sold. And then eventually you gain the ability to publish your own games, and you actually see how difficult it actually is to make money on the games, at least contextually in this, or money off the games contextually in this game. So $4 per game, or $5 or $6. $6 is fairly generous, actually. And we're gonna go to Koei because their fan base is marketed towards arcade games, and this is an arcade game. So yeah. So you can see here this Taitu, they like economic simulation. Pandai is fighting games. Roar. Did Rare publish? I thought they were always published by Nintendo, but they make shooters. I guess they made two. I guess they made two good ones, Perfect Dark and GoldenEye. Anyway, and Kemco is also arcade, but let's go with Koei because they will pay out more. And here's the skills. You can see and you can only go up to 3 stars. So once you actually get to 3, not game over, but it's over for that particular item or that topic or whatever you're doing. And then here, it looks like it goes up really slowly, but 0.3, 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.2. But over the course of the game, your main guy or girl will go up to 100 in almost everything. So by the time you're all tapped out on this particular playthrough, whatever you're doing, they're pretty run out. And then when you hire new people, the best thing to do is actually get a room for training so that they will gain skills faster. It just costs money for classes. Anyway, so overview of how many games with the same genre or the same theme at the time are available. So right now, games that have the same genre 0, games that have the same theme 0. So we are fairly unique. And over here you can see Aliens is trending. So if we would have made an Alien game, which we don't even have the access to because you have to actually research new genres and new themes, we don't have access to Alien games, but we do have access to pirate games, which is why we're making one. The first game is completed. You can now build the research area. You can research new features, games, and themes for your games. Or features? Genres. Why did I say games? Anyway, okay, let's see what they have to say. Okay, so the graphics look pretty good. A little polish could go a long way. The sound is not very good. A lot more effort should be put into that. The controls are a disaster. The game is unplayable. This game has many weaknesses only for fans. And here's the thing where I get a little confused, is that the controls are a disaster. The game is unplayable. You can see here the controls are 7%. Graphics 75, sound 46, controls 7. And I don't know. That's the one thing I am a little confused about, and later in the game it doesn't really matter. Like I said, you just throw more workers at it and it doesn't matter. But in this early game, I don't know how to get the control higher than fucking like 15. But 41% isn't horrible for the first game. Also, we're in the genre that's trending, which is arcade. So we should theoretically do all right here. So let's just, before we start working on anything else, let's just take a look at how we're selling here. So we sold 725 copies this week. And okay, so you can see right there, another 796. We're actually selling a little bit more this week, and we're getting ever closer to the budget. We just unlocked RPGs, but here you can see we're selling almost 900 copies in that week. And sometimes, I don't know, it goes up a little bit and then it tapers out over a few weeks. It looks like we are going to have a return on our investment. And you can see the money is going straight into our bank, and we should be good in a couple weeks and make all that money back and be able to make a new game. And we can make a new game right now if we really wanted to, but what I want to do instead is, there's no contract work. I was going to say, what I like to do after each, like in this early game, after you make a game, you know, do a little contract work to get your money up a little bit and then start making a new game so that you don't really dip too far down, because once you lose, like, once you're in the red for like through December of that year, then you're screwed and then you go bankrupt and game over. But as far as I can tell, there's no real high score mechanic or anything. With other games, with other Tycoon games like Game Dev Tycoon, there are high scores that you can kind of go for. Here, when you sell a game, like when this game is done selling, there's an option to upload it to a high score, and I'm not exactly sure where that high score is uploaded or how to even view it, but whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. So I guess that would kind of add a little bit of life to the end game, but this game is in early access, so who really knows? There's a couple things that you can see from the unlocks here that sound studio, graphic studio, quality assurance, yeah, QA, you know, and motion capturing. It's not in early access, and I'm not sure exactly what that will add, but there's it's a little strange. I think I've tapped this game out a little bit in one of my current playthroughs, but then at the same time, who can say, you know? But yeah. Anyway, let's save this. Let's save it right here, and take a look at one of the later games that you can play, or that you'll be able to access when you actually do a little better. So once you sell a bunch of stuff, you make a bunch of money, you can buy new buildings and hire a lot more people. So let's just take a look here. All right. So here you can see I have let's just look over here. There's an actual office here with a bunch of people. They're working on Power Rangers 3. They're working on Dragon's Dungeon 3. There's a class over here that they're learning. They're learning game design for everyone. There's a customer support team over here working on a game fair. We have a marketing team over here they're actually in class. I'm making so much money that I have no need for any marketing, and I also have 3.6 million fans. And there's the research. I've maxed out all the research. The game runs a bit slower when you have all this different shit in one building, but it's not horrible. There's also I have 4 server rooms here, just in case I make an MMO. All the servers are shut off because I haven't worked on an MMO at all. And over here I have production, so I can produce a game if I want to publish a game myself. I can make all the copies here, store them over here, or I can store up to 3.7 million copies, and then sell it through here. Obviously, there's a massive return on sales of copies when you do it yourself, but it's also a gamble, because if something doesn't sell well, then you're screwed, or if, you know, I don't know, anything could go wrong when it comes to that, and then you end up with leftover stock. Like the last game I did that with, I ended up with 2 million left over, and I think you can sell it. You can just like right click it and sell it to a bargain game shop or whatever and get a couple million back for that 2 million copies. But then you can see over here I've got staff rooms here. I put in all these couches because everybody was bitching that there wasn't enough fucking couches, so big deal. I have a bathroom because at a certain point you get here, there's only 3 people left I can hire, but people won't actually work here unless there's a certain thing. So for example, Alan Love does not give a fuck about anything else except for having this arcade cabinet, Wonder Man. He needs that Wonder Man cabinet. That's all he cares about. This person, all they care about is having this black couch. This person wants a gray couch, which I have, so I could hire this guy if I wanted to, but I don't. Screw you, Lance Jackson. Nobody needs you here. yeah, so I just, all these different things are here specifically because certain people will not work here unless you have them. And then once you hire them, you can just delete that shit and nobody cares. And I have all these plants because people bitch that there aren't enough plants or garbage cans or copy machines or whatever. They just complain about everything. And then over here you can see I have a bajillion games being sold at the same time. I'm working on, I have, look at all these, I forgot, but I have, this is Die Hard 12. Die Hard is a particularly successful franchise in this game I have here. With even Die Hard 10, Die Hard X, well, The Vengeance, is 277 weeks in, has made $106 million. And there's other games here I can, whoops, not that button. I can actually go to the developer tab, and you can see here, I have bought every single developer that I was in competition with and gave them enough money to make them all 5-star publishers. And they will make their own games and send them over to me. So here you can see Turbo Man. This game was not made by me, but when they're finished making a game, they will send it over. I can look at it and determine whether or not I want to publish it or let them publish it themselves. Or I rather let me find a publisher for them and then claim it as my own game. And you only want to do that with the good ones, obviously, because then you can make money off of them. Otherwise, it just stains your brand. It pisses fans off. Anyway, yeah, that was a lot of me talking and not a lot of me playing this game. But yeah, you can see, look at these people go. Oh, here's a good example. Tricks and Tracks 4 by Naughty Chicken. 3 stars. Don't want that to represent me. Also, this game looks like garbage. What are you doing? It's 2043 and you're still making trash games. You can see these people. They're hard at work. They're going nuts. IQ versus AI by Romedy. No, I don't want that. For whatever reason, even when they're all 5 stars, they still can make shitty games. General 4. So this is the screen that comes up when a game is finished selling. So it was on sale for 94 weeks, and which is a lot longer because in the beginning of the game they only sell for like 20 weeks or something like that. But you can see I actually I made a profit of $4 million on this game, and that was not mine. Unlike, you know, certain games I'm making just a ridiculous ridiculous profit on. But yeah. So you can see here, many fans have written good things about Die Hard 11. Yeah. Heroes of Mandia. Oh, okay, so here's another thing that's interesting about this, is that you can develop your own game engine, and I've unlocked everything and made a game engine that you charge them for it, which is, I have mine $300,000 to license the engine, and then you have to give 50% of the profits, which sounds unreasonable, but the actual in-game one is 55%. So you just have to, you can't go higher than 50 if you make your own, but you just want to undercut them anyway. That way, people are more attracted to yours, even though they have the same feature set. And you can see here that I've gotten 50% of their profits, but they already bought the engine, so I get $678,000. Cool. So yeah, this is Mad Games Tycoon. Oh, and here, this is my game, published by Ibusoft. The sales figures for this game are getting worse. Therefore, we have taken this game off the market. Getting worse? I mean, who cares when this game is? Look at this, $106.98 million. This game development costed $2.95 mil. Yeah, that's awesome returns. Upload online high score. I don't know. I don't know what that does, but. And you can see here, Naughty Chicken made the game Hyper Jump 3. This is a game that has 4 stars. I think I might want to sell this. Find a publisher, and let's see if we can find any racing game publishers. Or sports games. Sports games, is that what it is? Yeah, sports. There you go, sports. Namco. Look at that, 80%. Thumbs up on the graphics, just short of gold. That's great. So yeah, Mad Games Tycoon. It's cool. It's $9 or something like that. It's on Steam. It's in early access, and it's actually pretty far in development as far as I can tell. I like it a lot. I'm probably gonna put it down until there's something new because I played it for like 8 hours in one day. But if this is your jam, then absolutely check this out. It's freaking awesome. It's great. Sorry, this was mostly me talking, but that's kind of what you come to these videos for. Anyway, yeah, I'm Mike Fire. This is Fish Tuxedo. Watch another video. Goodbye.